we have ad hominem. The motion for the grand finals is, assuming that God unleashes the great flood in 2019, this House believes that humanity should embrace the flood. So my name is Frank, and I'll be chairing this round, and judging with me are
Tony,
So now, without further ado, let's now welcome the Prime Minister to begin the debate. Here.
So we can see that the definition provided by you guys is that the Great Flood is the cleansing of humanity. Like in the Bible, we also see that the Great Flood is made when the God sees human as truly evil and unsuitable for improvement. And so the story of Noah also proves that God chooses the good ones to survive. And here's the two things that we think that the Great Flood would provide. One, a whole new start for humanity because of the cleansing of bad things. And two, a reminder for people to not go back into their old evil, corrupted ways. So let's state the current situation and the status quo of humanity. There's lots of corruption in governments, in companies, in jailhouses, and etc. And there is truly evil in all things. And characterization, we think the reason why humanity does these evil things is because they think they could get away with it eventually and they won't have any punishment. The opposition side may say that, okay, there's laws and we could enforce laws and we could ensure they get the punishment. But we think that is not true by past events provided, past examples provided, such as the rich can hire better lawyers or pay off the victims with large amount of money. It creates a large gap between even the rich and poor. We have minority and majority, and after all of this, majority also gets these benefits, and these laws could not restrict them from because they think they don't need punishment. So although the opposition side might say that the world is improving, see, gay marriage is legalized, we are improving, humanity is awesome, but we say that is simply not true because every tactic, every policy that the government has implanted fails every time, even if a little policy turns out to be good, like maybe LGBT marriage is legalized, that's still a minimal and stands alone with other kinds of society harms and problems, such as even if you're gay, your friend, your peers, your teacher will still look at you in a different way because their mindset has simply not changed, and even the policy have enacted, there's still people who see, there will always be someone who looks for loopholes in laws when government tries, for example, when government tries to tax the rich more to minimize the wealth gap, they just simply remove their assets to somewhere else where the government can see it and can find it. And example, the wealth gap will never be closed because the fact that the rich are mega rich and they have more advantage than the impoverished, like past examples I've just said. Even if they maybe they hit a poor person on the street, they could just pay off the poor person and they do not receive any punishment at all. And the racial discrimination and gender discrimination will never be solved because no matter how many laws or how many policies we implant, even though in a future world we say that you will go to jail when you say something bad, when you have a racial discrimination against other people, if you call other person something bad, then you'll go to jail. That will still not be changed because because of past examples that we have seen in humanity is that people use all their tactics to get out of jail, to get out of the punishment, and these people will still not be punished. And other people who are seeing these things that, okay, so if I get really rich and if I get a lot of power, I could do the same as them. And we see this cycle going on and on in today's society. So the society becomes more and more evil and not improving. Yes?
So you're saying that the people with different things, with different crimes, should receive the same result of that?
We think that people, not what you're saying, we say that because of these people, that are doing different crimes to society nowadays. If I stab a person in the eye, or if I break a person's leg, okay, that is different crimes. Or if I just I don't pay my taxes, okay, that is different crimes. But that is not only a crime, but it's also encouraging other people to do the crime, because you're telling them that if I have the power, if I have the money, that I don't need to receive the punishment that's provided by the government or the law. So it helps. So after all of this, we say the conclusion is that the mindset of people never really change. Okay, so what if they go in the jailhouse and receive some punishment and they come out? Their mindset will never change, because they just think that if I have the money, if I have the power, then I would never have to receive this punishment again. So what I go out there is I use like low paid employees, and I earn money through like sabotaging all kinds of stuff, and then I will have power and money, and I can do whatever I want. And we think, for this characterization for humanity, we think that is why we need this great blood, and why humanity should embrace this great blood, because humanity simply has no improvement space for improvement, and it's unsuitable for improvement, because God sees human as truly evil, and this will only occur more and more through the cycle, because as we have provided, people will only think that people are money driven and power driven, so they would just think that if I have these two, then I could actually rule the world. We think this world as an actually corrupted world, and that's why when God unleashes the great flood in 2019, humanity should actually embrace the flood, because when humanity does that, it actually, as we just said before, God chooses the good ones to survive. We think that after all of these things, when the truly good survives all of this flood, they will tell their children, they will tell who is left, to say, don't do these bad things. Don't do that, because we see that there is a punishment for doing those bad things, and not just punishment of law that I could get out quickly with money and power. I have to do good things in my life, because God would actually punish those who aren't. So that is why we're so proud to propose.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for that speech. Now let's welcome the Leader of Opposition. Here, here.
Okay, so as the leader of opposition, I'm going to say that we strongly oppose that humans should just embrace the flood that is unleashed by God. So first, I want to give simple rebuttals to the opening government side, is that they continue to emphasize that after embracing this flood, then the world is going to left with good people, and they call the good people are the people who needs to have a high moral standards. However, we see that there are a lot of harm that it's going to cause if there were only good people that's living on the earth. So think about the good people as the people, including all kinds of people who can maintain their basic living, so that they can maintain normal moral standards. The bad peoples are those that cannot maintain. So if there were only good people, the first harm is going to be the lack of vigilance. What does that mean? CJS system and the police system and guards or all kinds of, for example, armies. These things are it is used to protect protect the good people from getting harmed. And who are they protecting from? Are the bad people. But if there were no bad people, and these kinds of systems are going to be deprecated. And sometime after, these people are starting to think that they're living in a very comfortable society, and they're going to be aware of what kinds of potential threats that are coming to them. And why is that happening? I will explain that in the second argument, that is the lack of competitiveness. So, assuming that they are aware of the threats coming, then this is I will just move on to the lack of competitiveness then. So imagine a company. Company in the world needs to make money. If they're not greedy enough, if they are not bad, sometimes bad enough, then they cannot earn enough profit. Then good people are starting to let the competitiveness to fall, and that will in turn lead to good products are not being manufactured very frequently, and customers are not going to have the incentive to buy new products, which in turn lower the profit. And companies they don't have any idea why this is happening, so they will just in turn to cut the salary on their workers. So laborers might very well get laid off because of this. And this is why I said that bad people are continue to coming into this after cleansed society. Because we assume at first there are only good people. However, bad people coming into this society, by definition, they cannot maintain their basic livings. So if this is the case, then it's going to return to the society that's before the flood, right? And before the flood, there are like corruption in all places, and due to the lack of vigilance I just mentioned, these people are just going to get harmed more before the original society. So government are saying that it doesn't repeat and it constructs a better place. I don't think that this is the point. Second, and our argument is that people who believe in this flood, people who believe that bad people should be cleansed by this flood, is the people who hold religion. And religion is not only about caring for those wealthy people, but also they're caring about poor people. And poor people who make minor mistakes, if they were just going to be slaughtered by this flood, then what's the reason for these people to believe in this religion in the very first place? And also, if the good people are defined as government said high moral standards, then if they were to know that the flood is coming, what will they react to this thing? They will stop achieving their dreams that involves in some risks, because these risks might lead them to become bad people, bad actions, and finally let them to get slaughtered. And this really restricts their freedom of choice, which we believe that religion is also trying to comfort people, to give them power, to give them the positive motive to actually face all kinds of adversities in the society.
Point?
No. Mindset. So we said that not all of the people should actually slaughter by this flood. So we strongly oppose that they should just embrace it, because it's actually the government's right to actually maintain the basic human rights, and it is them who needs to solve this problem. For example, the criminals, they might be some people who get laid off. Then government should actually provide pensions. They actually should provide job trainings. They actually should provide the long-term process to actually try to solve these kinds of cases, and not just give them also before things.
As you said before, that when you said the rich, when they know that the great flood is coming, they will stop doing all the bad things. Isn't that good for our side? Because that is exactly what we're trying to do. Or stop humanity from being bad. How do you respond?
Okay, so to this question, you said that people are doing all kinds of bad things. That is not my point, because this is just intuitively impossible. What I mean is that these people are not willing to take risks. They are trying to restrict them to the utmost to not do the things that will potentially harm themselves or be regarded as bad. However, what they're thinking as bad at the first time may not turn out to be bad. For example, if they are trying to skip their classes and try to sell some good like things to people, and then they donate the money to the charity, then skipping classes, if they are like considered as minor bad things, then the huge benefits that is brought by this action can actually compensate them. So the point is that the mindset is about that the government should actually be the role to maintain basic human rights, to take care of all these problems in the society, and instead just disobey the religion, the meaning of religion to protect people, and also to let people to fall into the lack of vigilance and the lack of competitiveness, which just repeat what it is the world, how it is bad before the Great Flood. I'm proud to oppose. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition, for that speech. Now let's welcome the Deputy Prime Minister. You're here.
We as the government, we believe that the Great Flood is the only way to solve the issues in the history that are long yet not to be solved. For example, sexist, for example, racist, and for all those are actually not solved and will never be solved without the Great Flood. First, starting off with some rebuttals. The opposition, they talked about how those police, those guards, they will think that, oh, there's no bad people, and they will think that it's so comfortable. But then we believe that with people will be more likely to change if there are huge punishment. For example, we have those laws and those punishments just for people to learn that this is bad. And this works the same way. When you give a person a strong punishment, which is the Great Flood in this motion, we will be able to make people notice how bad the situation is and how God will be able to be punishing you if you did something wrong. And we will be able to just let people think of how they should change just because that the God will be able to punish them. With this strong punishment, we believe that people will to be able to remind themselves, and then they will be scared of the result, so they will not turn bad. So there is actually no need for those people, and we are actually purifying those human race in the society. And they talked about how companies, they will decrease the competitiveness, but we hadn't heard those analysis, that much of an analysis on proving why people will not like to buy those things if there's the Great Flood. And we believe that the Great Flood is actually very good in reminding and to purify the human race. And then they talked about how they put question on us that, are we going to punish those people that make minor mistakes? So we believe that the Great Flood is defined as they're purifying those that are actually truly evil, and defined as that they are cleaning the people that is actually truly evil. We know that all people make mistakes. We know that even those good people, they actually make mistakes at least once in their life. So of course, they are characterized throughout the history. They are characterized as that they are knowledgeable. Of course, they will not punish those that are made minor mistake, and they will know that some people, if they are truly evil or not. And of course, we will not punish those that made minor mistake. But if later on they might make a bigger mistake, of course the God will punish them. Yes.
Referring to the people that don't make minor mistakes, does that mean that they deserve death and no way to come back?
I believe that I had already covered that part. If they actually made minor mistake, the God, of course, will justify it. And if this minor mistake might lead to a bigger mistake, of course, the God will punish them, and the God will of course see whether it's truly evil or not. If that person is truly evil, of course he might later on move to a bigger mistake, which we don't want, and we don't want to risk this. Yeah, before I move on.
So you're saying that people with minor mistakes is not going to be cared by God, and God should just kill them instead of trying to help them?
Those people that might change later on, of course the God will not punish them, but if they don't change, if the God know that they will not change, of course the God will punish them. And we believe that is actually better for the society to purify the human race and decrease those people that are actually truly evil. Moving on to my argument about how the Great Flood is actually a sign to people how they should be always reminded to not become evil. So God, of course, is characterized always that knows everything, and this notion, of course, is religious based. So God is characterized as that have all supernatural power. So they use, once those God used the Great Flood, of course he believed that the situation is already too bad. And we see all those racist, sexist, it might have be soft a bit, but then there is still all those discrimination on those people. Without purifying those people that are actually evil, we will never be able to solve this problem. There will always be little discrimination that are not found, and there will always be those politicians, those policies that are given out that cannot solve the problem fully. And we believe the only way to solve all those problems is by purifying those people. So with purifying, we will not only be able to purify those people that are evil and to stop those issues from still occurring to the society, but we will also be able to remind people that money and power is not everything. Because we can see now that a lot of people, they believe in money and power. They believe that just because of power, they can get rid of all those mistakes that they have made, and just because of money, they will be able to get out of all those mistakes. But no, by the Great Flood, the God will be able to inform and to tell people that, and to change people's mindset into that money and power is not the everything, and they should still sustain good even if they have all those powers. And we will be able to make the society even better and change the issue of how racism and sexism and all those discriminations, which will never be solved without the Great Flood.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister, for that speech. Now let's welcome the Deputy Leader of Opposition. Here.
Great Flood is not justifiable to destroy every human's right to live, and we don't embrace this idea. So I will provide you mainly two arguments. And first, let me rebut the previous speaker. He said he didn't understand our mechanism why the world that with all the good people still have bad people and the company lose the profit and things like this. But what Khan have already explained clearly to you is that the society still need to function after this great flood, right? So this still company need to make money to sustain their life, to pay salary to people. So if all the people like satisfied, like they don't like all are good people, like just government side measure, then there's no demand for the product of the company, and those people just like really happy about like God give us a life. So this is why my partner tell you the company will lose the profit, lose the competitiveness, and it is really harmful because there are people like maybe they are greedy and they are because they will lack the big because there's no innovation to improve society humans living, right? Okay, so let's move to our two arguments. The first argument we want to compare which side can better protect every individual's right to live. And second argument, we will tell you why status quo is better and we promote the freedom of choice of every individual. So move to our first argument and okay, so which side can better protect the individual right to live? So let's see in government side's case, they keep talking about like humanity is not improved and they keep talking about like mindset is hardly to change. So first we say they set a really high standard. Let me see, they deny every individual's right to live, right? And the secondly, we think their standard of these good people is really vague because the first speaker said because they said that big mistakes should die. Who make big mistakes should die. If you make a minor mistake, if you will change, then you won't die. And they also later say, you made a minor mistake. It's likely that you will make big mistake, so you should die. So we don't know what's the clear standard of their side. So we can assume that with this really high standard, every individual should die, right? Because you may like lie to others, and you may lie not just one time. You may cheat on the exam not just one time. So you also die, right? So in their side, they deprive every individual's right. So let's engage in the bigger picture about like LGBT, racism, all this ideology in the society. So actually, they are selecting the great ideology that will insist that should be left in the that should be protected in the society. So actually, this is that they think that God should select people and should deter the people's freedom of speech. Why? Because if you are the people who deter the idea of LGBT, like in their side, they should die, right? So those people, they were afraid that they couldn't have any chance to spread out the idea. They even couldn't talk this idea with others because they are afraid of dying. And we don't think that will change the mindset of the society because you are just eliminating the people with different ideas and making them don't have the right to live. Even if those people cause a lot of conflict in the society, we still think it's their right to live because we want to value every individual's right to live, and it's also your freedom of speech, freedom of choice to do anything you want, even if that causes the harm to the society. So okay, let's engage the more minor mistake they mentioned. They say, so we think there's some contradictory in this point because they are saying that you make minor mistake, it's likely that you make the bigger mistake. And so first, and they said there was some we said firstly they had no executive chance, and second, it is likely that those people will be killed because they are under let's say they don't change, they will make bigger mistake, right? So they are under the assumption that these people will be killed because they don't change in their side. So those people, even if they could change, but under their side narrative, they are still going to be killed because they believe those people don't have chance to change, right? So, and also we don't see what's the benefit of this world after Great Flood. And my partner tell you a lot of harm of this world. Okay, so let's move to the third layer. So my partner tell you there are some poor people because of the structural problem that the resources all concentrated on the rich people. The poor people don't have this kind of opportunity, can't get out of the higher social class. This is the problem happening in status quo. So there's some people stealing the things because they want to sustain their life. But in their side, they can't killing these people. And my partner tell you that they've already contradicted the concept of religion. Because religion is something that you have salvation. You salvation these people, but now the God want to use these those people. They have some reason to steal, or they have this such miserable condition. But now you are all eliminate all these people. We believe this is not unjust. It is just unjustifiable. And also, we think that will create a bad impact. That government is less likely to give you the welfare. Why is that? Because the mindset is that the government is saying, all these poor people, or they may go to steal, or they have this stereotype towards people. So this is. Government don't want to help you because they can see that they may save the budget and then let you die because of the great flood and then
Great Wall the government side proposed. So in outside, even if the preemption is that, even if the CG said our government is so inefficient to solve all the problems, we tell like it is still, okay, so we tell that even if that's the case, we still want to protect every individual's right to live. So let's move to our last part. Why status quo is better, even if there's a lot of conflict? We tell that we want to protect every individual freedom of choice. Why is that? Because firstly, you have considered what you want to do, and you also know the alternative, or know the information. So that's why you make the decision. We want to protect individuals' autonomy. So we think when you make your choice, you have to take the responsibility, right? So engaging in their case, let's talking about a lot of like people who not support LGBT, people who scold other, people who lie other. This is all the thing you make by your freedom of choice, by your own autonomy, and you also need to take the responsibility, right? The responsibility is that the government side mentioned that rich people like hit other, they pay the money, and this is why the CGS work, right? Because you take the responsibility and you pay for that. So this is why we see in the status quo, people have own choice and they take the responsibility. It's more justifiable than just kill the people who have different ideology, people who just make any mistake. We don't think that is a salvation. We think that will cause people become more anxious. They will not really change. They just maybe to fake in order to survive in this great flood. It is still likely in their side. And also, there's no communication and no change in their side. Because people will think like, oh, you have different idea and then you will die outside. Our world will be really great, really happy. So there's no change in their side. No change in their side. You have deterred those people to survive. We believe that is fundamentally right and not is principally unjustifiable. Very proud to oppose.
Thank you, Debbie, Leader of Opposition, for that speech. Now to open up the closing act, I welcome the member of government. Here, here.
Mr. Speaker, everyone, we reach to the point of no return. We reach to the point that nothing is fixable and it's hopeless. So the only option we have is a new restart, is a fresh restart, is a reset button to give a new birth to this world. Because what is the problem that we are trying to solve? To solve by embracing such flood is that this society has been corrupted beyond repair. And whatever solution the side government or side opposition is trying to preach here, besides like education or awareness or all those things, we believe that those are so ineffective. So the fact that the past hundreds of years are being teaching people, or in the past few decades we are being teaching people about the environments and to protect the environments, but until now we are still seeing the rises of the sea levels and the rise of temperature. And they claim that companies, if after the flood they won't have enough money to make products, we tell you, Mr. Speaker,